Hey everyone, sorry it's been a while. I am here with Corey as always. Say hi, Corey.
Hey, how's it going?
And this video is going to be a little bit short. I did want to fill everyone in on what's been going on and why there's been a delay. I've been making a lot of preparations for a trip in October where I'll be going to a classic Commodore Amiga computer convention. And so if you might recall this game that we're working on, Damon Claw, it's being based as though, like this version that we're making in Construct, we're basing all of the graphics and basically we're keeping it within the limitations of the actual graphical abilities of the old classic Amiga computers. And eventually a real programmer for classic Amigas is going to make a version of this game that actually runs on Amigas. So, as I think Corey and I discussed in past videos, maybe only in our private Patreon videos, I'm not positive, but it's really important if you're working on a game as an indie developer, while you're working on the game, especially once you get to the point where you have stuff you're willing to show off, it's a really good idea to start building your social media presence and awareness for your game and support for your game long before the game is ready to release. It's a really important way to drastically increase the odds that your game will do decently upon release. So what we're going to do today is, we discussed previously that we are going to make it so that when the player jumps up and grabs the power-up that gives him one of the magic gauntlet forms, which is a different form per level, he's going to have a special animation where basically time is going to freeze, he's going to hang there in the air, go into what will be a cool pose. This is just my very fast placeholder art that either Corey or I will fix and replace later, but then these magic glows just come out from off of the screen, and the gauntlet appears with a glow, and then he'll start to fall and time will go back to normal. So that's what we're going to see if we can get working in the actual game. So the first thing I had to do was make the placeholder art, add that to the Spriter project, and then create the animation with this new placeholder art. And then the next step was to save it out as both the SCML format and SCON format. And once I did that, I just literally dragged it, dragged the SCML file into this layout in Construct, the Spriter layout in this project, and that updated it with the new animation. And so now we are ready to go. I also mentioned this in the past. It's a really good idea when you're going to be triggering animations from a Spriter project. It's a really good idea to keep the Spriter project open, so you can make sure you're getting the name exactly correct, because it is, obviously, if you have a slightly different spelling, or even, I think it's even case sensitive, so you have to be really careful to get the exact name of the animation to make it work in Construct. So now what we can do is go to gameplay events, and we have to find the event that handles when you grab the power-up. So actually, I guess the easy way to do that, I need to remind myself, since it's been a while, what is the power-up called? So apparently flame pickup. So I copied that name, and we're going to go into gameplay events again, and we're going to search for flame pickup. And here it is, flame pickup on collision with, play spell, that's audio, and then spawn a grab flash effect, add 1 to firepower. That's all fine. However, what we need to do is we need to check and see if firepower, so I'm going to add a sub-event. Let's see here. Yeah, there's currently no sub-event. So I'm going to add a sub-event like so, and then we're going to do, we're going to compare the global value firepower equals 1. So if this is the first power level that the player got, then we need to do this special animation, and we need to freeze time. So the first thing we will do is freeze time. So we're going to set timescale for everything to 0, but then we also immediately need to set timescale of, oops, back. I wanted set object timescale now. And it's, is it called hero? Yes. So the hero sprite object, we're setting his timescale back to 1. So everything will be paused except for the hero. And then we're going to hero set animation to, and then this is where I need the exact name from the spriter file, so I'll just grab that again, copy that. Yep.
I'm wondering, I had a thought about freezing time in that instant. Do you think, I can't remember, do you think there would be any HUD animation that would need to finish during that time? I don't think so, but I can't.
Potentially, but that's a really good point.
Yeah.
And what we can do if that's the case is exactly like we did this for set timescale to 1.0. We would need to do that for every potential object that should not have its time paused in that moment.
We'll see how it works, and then we'll...
It should become pretty obvious what things should have not stopped in time, and we can manually make those not stop. So, but otherwise, I think this is all good, at least for a start. And then obviously the other thing we need to do is make a new event that says hero and on finished. Where is that? On animation finished, same animation name. And then we're going to set timescale to 1. And the other thing I was just thinking, I think we are putting use to that kind of super simple state engine that I use where I have a value called stuck in move.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see, is it in here? I'm not seeing it there. Did I just check the same place twice? I may have. As is usually the case, I am tired while making this video, so my apologies, everyone, for... Alright, there we go. Let's try, maybe it's here. Set value. So there it is, stuck and move to 1. So this should protect it from the animation being automatically set to jump or fall depending on his Y velocity. Basically, every other code that changes the animation won't change the animation if the player is already stuck in a move, which we use this value to keep track of that. So now all we just need to do is set stuck and move to 0, and now theoretically, whether he's jumping or falling, because stuck and move is now 0, he should switch back properly to the falling or jumping animation. So potentially it all works now, but as is typically the case with something like this, there's usually a couple of things that we didn't think of initially that we'll need to compensate for. We'll see. Alright, let's see. Remember how to... Oh yeah, so I forgot we added that dropkick. Well, that worked. Alright, cool. He was half off the screen, but it definitely worked. So we could potentially make it so that once you grab it, we do a check to wait for the character to be falling and lower than a certain height, so that way it always does the animation once the character is nicely on screen and not half off the screen. I think that would be an elegant solution. Make it a little trickier, but it works right now, but it's not the visual payoff that we're looking for. Yeah, so I think, let's see if we can figure this out. We're going to gameplay events, and we're going to have to move this out of the immediate collision, except for, actually, yeah, I'll just copy this and move it down here. And in this case, it's just going to, let's see. Yeah, we just won't do that yet. And we're going to free this. Oops, that's not how you do it. This is how. Set object timescale. So this way, he'll keep falling, like so. And then we're also going to, let's see, how do we ignore input? That's a good question. I don't think I have a variable for that. We'll ignore that part for now. That might take me a little longer to figure out. But for now, so we're stopping time. The idea is so that other enemies can't come flying into him while he basically is helpless while we're waiting for him to fall back down to make sure he's at a nice height on the screen and not half off of the screen for the animation. So this we don't need. This we don't need. And that's already been done. Yeah, actually. I'm just thinking the issue here, if we say it's stuck in move, then it won't automatically start playing the falling animation when he starts falling. But I'll deal with that afterwards. That's not a difficult sort of loose end to tie up late after the fact once it's otherwise working. But anyway, firepower equals 1, and add another condition, and we're going to say it's is falling, and we're also going to say trigger once while true. So this should only happen the first time this is true. But I could be wrong. It might happen every time you jump high enough if your firepower is 1. So I'll have to double check that. I'll have to test it. It could end up pausing the game every time he's jumps up in the air after getting only 1 firepower. If that's the case, I'll have to add another variable in there to make it only happen once. But for now, we'll see if this works. Firepower 1 is falling. Okay, so the other thing is we're going to compare the y and greater or equal to, this is arbitrary, I don't know exactly how far, but we'll test it at 150 pixels for now.
That's pretty far. I mean,
well, this is what I'm thinking. This is already probably about 30 pixels. And then this is 16, I think. 8 or 16.
I mean, is this supposed to be like the distance he falls before he does the animation?
Exactly.
I would.
And then it's, remember, his point, what is that called? The anchor point is down at his ankles, and he's got to be 40-ish pixels high, I imagine. So
yeah, I mean, we can try that. See, I just didn't want it to be so high that he would actually hit the ground before that number was there. But maybe 100 is best. But this way we'll know for sure it's working, and then we can tweak the number based on what it looks like. So we're setting the animation. That's all fine. So theoretically, this should all work now. But I think there are some loose edges we're going to have to... some edge cases we're going to have to deal with. Oops. Forgot that I switched those controls around. One more enemy. Oh, I was never high enough, so that's a problem. So now I'm stuck. Alright, let's see.
Yeah, but why would that matter? Firepower equals 1 is falling, which it certainly is. And then y is greater. Well, it's definitely going to be greater, so that should...
Wait, so what did it do? It froze time when you landed? Is that kind of what happened?
No, as soon as you grab the firepower, if that makes firepower 1,
Mm-hmm.
then it pauses time for everything except for the player's box, which has the platformer behavior, and the animations will keep playing for the spriter object, but he's stuck in move. And
Yeah, I think that number is just too high, that Y, because I mean, I think the whole screen
it's only 200. That's a good point.
Yeah, it's like 180 or something like that. So I mean, he probably just didn't get to fall far enough,
Right.
so it never set the animation.
Well, we will soon see. Let's see what happens now. I switched it to 80, which still might be too low, but oops. Yeah, maybe. I'll put on the debugging text just in case.
Yeah.
And I will set that text. Let's see. Let me see. Make sure there's no event in the level 1 events. Oh, there is. So I need to change it here. So set text to string. And it's going to be the player box Y coordinate. So we'll be able to keep an eye on just how high or low that number actually gets.
And it's doing that from his feet, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, from the bottom of him to the ground probably isn't that many pixels, you know what I mean? It's...
Right. Oh, actually, I didn't think of that. What I can do is go in here, lock all these layers, and then select this, and we can literally decide like this and look at what the coordinate actually is.
Mm-hmm.
Where is it? Where's the X? I mean the Y. Position 77 up there. So 80 should have worked. There's something wrong with the logic, I guess.
Well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, like, you might not have been that high up, you know what I mean? Like, when you grabbed it, like, he might have been...
Yeah, but as soon as I am both falling and my position is greater, which is lower than, meaning, you know, falling below 80, and this is already 90, so it should be up there. So
right,
any
yeah.
position, once it's 1, should have worked. So that's definitely confusing.
I guess we'll have to look at that.
Look at the logic some more.
Yeah.
Down we go.
Firepower
Greater than equal, that's the Y. Okay. Firepower is
Do you
Y.
think it's that trigger once? Because there's been problems in the past when we've used that, you know? I mean, I know that's the way it needs to be, but I'm just wondering, like, if that is actually busted, you know, like...
Right. Nope, this shouldn't matter, but I just did remember one other thing. Here, not only are we changing the animation, but now we need to set... Where is it? That's weird. Oh, that's because I'm not filtering out anymore. What was it called? Firepower or something like that? A flame pickup, that's what it is. Okay, so right here, this is where he should stop time and stop falling. That wasn't the problem that we're dealing with, but that was a problem, an oversight, so I figured I'd fix it while it's on my mind.
Right.
Set animation, get gauntlet, play. Platform is falling.
Will it play his animation if you set his time scale to 0? I mean, like...
Yeah, this doesn't matter. This is just the actual platformer behavior box.
Oh, okay.
It's the thing called hero, the sprite object hero, which you could see here. We set the time scale to 1.
Ah, right. Okay.
So that should not matter. Alright, let's see what's happening now after the autosave. Come on. That's interesting. Alright, it did the... Yeah, now it's in an infinite loop because I got rid of this.
Mm-hmm.
So amazingly enough...
Yes, I guess that is working.
Well, at least it breaks it a different way if we don't have it there. Interesting. So it kept resetting the animation to 1 every frame, which is why the animation was frozen.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see what happens now. But I'm seeing values mostly in the negative, which makes no sense at all. There. Alright, once it's done, so clear that. Once this animation is finished, we need to... Oh, interesting. I guess because we manually set this time scale to 0 here, we need to manually set that specific time scale back to 1.
Right.
Okay.
Maybe that was the only issue left. I'm not sure.
We'll see.
Find out.
Yeah, it's going to keep... Oh, did it twice. Well, I think at least that makes sense. Oh, wait, no, because I have... Oh, yeah, that was something I was afraid of with trigger once. Trigger once isn't enough. We're going to need another variable or... Let's see... Oh, actually, that's interesting. What we can use instead of wasting a variable, potentially, actually maybe not. I don't think yet, but we're considering adding it, I think. A way in the spriter object itself to check which character maps are currently active. I think that feature doesn't exist yet. Let's just really quickly check. And another condition, hero. Let's see if there's anything for character maps. Variable, size and position, instance variables, entities, appearance, animation. No. The other way would be to check 2 variables. And, oh no, not that. Check to compare 2 values. There we go. And then same thing here, hero. Tags, object, instance variables. Nope. Okay. So we're just going to quickly... Yep, go ahead.
So your variable is just...
Which variable? Firepower?
Well, I mean, like, this variable, it's going to be set when he gets this, and then it's...
The first time.
It's going to be unset, like, as soon as it plays or does its thing. I guess that's the way you're doing it.
What I'm going to do is say, if this is true the first time, if this is true, where is it? Flame. So, right here, where we have that, alright, it's 143. I really don't like the way it hides the minimized stuff there. 143. All right. So the first time this is true and we freeze time and all that stuff, what we're going to do is we're going to have another variable right here that lets the game know, okay, this is the first time that he's got that power. And then I'm just going to add a check to make sure that variable is set to 1 for this part. And then we're going to, yeah, that'll work. And then we'll set it to something like 2 or something, so now it knows it's no longer like any, from now on, it's already got the gauntlet, so you never do this again, basically.
Well, I mean, doesn't the firepower levels, like the firepower equals 1, isn't that essentially what it's doing, like by itself?
No, because that stays at 1, so that's a problem. This is going to be true every time you jump in the air.
Oh, okay.
Right? And that's going to stay at 1 until it becomes 2, which only becomes 2 once you grab the the next power-up, which could be a while, or never if you're really bad at the game or whatever. So, yeah, so we just need a secondary variable, so I'll just add that in up here. Global variable had gauntlet activated. And then at start of layout, we should set that value, because, like, let's say you have your gauntlet activated in one level, you have to earn it for each level, kind of like Altered Beast, like the way you have to regain the spirit balls to transform into the new monster. Like in this game, you need to get more power to get the new variant of the gauntlet per level. So at the beginning of the level, we need to make sure that you do not have the gauntlet activated, because that value would be carried over. So let's see. Flame. Oh yeah, 143. I remember now. 143. On collision, this. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to set value gauntlet activated. We're going to set it to 1. Okay, and now here we're going to say all this is true, and just going to copy that and double click to edit, and gauntlet activated equals 1. But now we're also going to set value gauntlet activated to 2. So now this will only ever be able to happen once, because it's immediately going to make it 2. So now all these conditions will never be true anymore. So I think we handled that important edge case.
That made me have a thought about, I guess other than dying, you would just never lose your power-ups, right? There's no other way to lose it.
That's a good question. Currently,
we never really thought about that.
Currently, that is true, but we could make it to be nice to the players that if your meter is otherwise gone, then like your health meter is completely empty and you get hit again, but you have the gauntlet power. We could do a thing where maybe you lose your gauntlet power instead of dying, like your gauntlet.
Yeah, or even if it was like a special enemy that could do that to you or something like that, you know. You never know. Or a boss or something. But
yeah, make you have to re-earn it. Oops, anyway, why am I playing? I think it worked.
Yeah, I think it worked. Yeah.
We just need to tweak that height value now. And it is weird, I'm getting, like when I jump, see that negative there? How is that value already negative? That makes no sense as far as...
Yeah, isn't that just this Y coordinate?
Yeah, it's Y coordinate. It should be well in the 100 area down here. Why is it 0?
It looks like it's not a coordinate, but it's like some sort.
Oh, like Y
You know?
inertia, that's it. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I didn't think I did that, but maybe I did. Maybe I set it to Y inertia instead of just Y coordinate. Where would that have been? That was in level 1, actually. Level 1 events. Level 1...
Because it starts at 0, and he shouldn't start at 0. You know, like he should be... He's
Which
further
makes
down.
perfect sense for Y inertia, so that's got to be the case. Where is it? Why am I not... There it is. So text. What? Oh, test. Oopsie. Text. Yep, vector Y, that's why. Okay. I should have noticed that, but this should have looked like this. Yep, there it was. I accidentally grabbed that, and it should have been this.
Yeah, there you go.
So that'll help us pick a good value a lot easier, more accurately.
And I want to like make sure that it's got that right balance where it's, because if he falls too far and does it, it might be weird for the player. Like, suddenly suddenly I'm in a different position when I get to control my guy again, and like I don't want it to be too awkward. You know?
Yeah, for sure. I think it looks like it's going to be somewhere between 80 and 90 is going to be right.
Right.
Oopsie. One more. Oh yeah, and let's make it so it's while you're falling again.
Yeah, I mean
think
at that
that'll
point
feel
you
more
pretty much
natural.
just did it right when you got it the way it was before. Yeah.
Yep. So let's see.
Which wasn't bad. He didn't look bad in that particular position.
The position was fine. It's just, but that could be happening lower than we're allowing, because it's that number or lower on the screen height, which is a greater number. So it's just happening instantaneously. So if it's while it's falling. Oh, did I go into gameplay events accidentally? Or no, that's what I was supposed to do. There we go. So all the way down here, toggle disabled. All right, we're getting close. Nope. Okay. So we'll try 95. Save progress.
1995.
Now what would you pay?
Yeah, I think that'll be like right in the sweet spot that it needs to be.
It's definitely getting close. Let's see.
Not that different, but yeah.
All right. Well, I have to restart.
But it isn't. You know, I mean, he is fully on screen.
Yeah.
You know, at this point, so
we can lower it a bit more if we wanted to. We could also make it so his Y inertia upward immediately stops. But I don't.
I would say it might be worth testing too, to try to get it when you're really up high, to see if it feels weird if he drops down too far or something. You know.
Yeah, definitely. Right. Let's just make this an even 100, and then play around a little bit. We're at the tweaking numbers stage.
90% of game development.
Yep. The other thing I want to do is
I noticed
make him to bring the player to the front, because he had all those little glowy ball things all over him, which detracted from the overall effect. Like, we really want to make that animation front and center when it's happening, and we'll add a cool sound effect and maybe tint the whole screen or something eventually. But for now, we're just getting it to work.
Yeah, you're talking about like when he grabs the power up, how it shows the little flash.
Yeah, all right, I'll have to earn the next one.
Yeah, it looks weird with that being there and paused.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so those are things we could potentially
like see how that's like, you know, it was like covering his face or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's one thing we could definitely do is just make those things
Not
also
freeze.
immune to the freezing. That might be
Yeah.
enough. That's a good point. They do go away very quickly on their own normally, so let's do that. Let's see. So time scale. Oh, I guess not. Or am I in level 1? No, I guess not. So. Alright, so here, where we initially freeze time, we need more of the set object time scale. And it's going to be all those little effects. What are those called? Grab flash? I'm going to go into the spriter layout and see.
Sounds like a good name for a band.
Indeed. I guess that is it. Well, one way to find out.
Yeah, I think it'll go away quick enough to kind of display his animation well.
Oops. Get. Alright, that worked.
Yeah, so if he's got an upward motion, he's going to kind of...
Yeah, it's going to take a little while, which, like I said, maybe we should just make it so he immediately loses his Y inertia if he grabs that power, so you don't have that awkward wait.
Yeah. I think that would look best, because it's strange that he... Yeah, he moved up like that.
Let me think here. Alright, we'll just try that. That would be during the actual initial the initial impact when we freeze time. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting it's... What is it? Oh, I'm in the wrong layout. That doesn't help. The wrong event sheet. I mean, I think it's 143. Yeah. So here, what we can do is set his vector Y to 0. So we should start falling. Am I in the right layout or the spriter layout or something goofy here? Let's see what happens.
Oh, that's correct. That is a long string of decimal numbers.
Indeed.
Ah, that looked
That felt
nice.
pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. I think we are close. Let's do another test. I'll try jumping quite low and see if it looks a little goofy if you grab it kind of low in the air, but I don't think so. I think it'll be fine. You know, let's see. Can I grab it? I'm going to try grabbing it with the completely normal jump, if I can remember to not high jump.
Right.
I don't know if it's possible, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yep, you can.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Didn't feel bad, but it does. Like Like, should we tweak the gameplay so that you have to definitely do the high jump to be able to grab it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, with the vertical space there, it seems like to do that we would sort of have to actually adjust
Limit
his regular
his
jump height. And I don't
that
know
is a
how
very
that would
high jump
feel.
height for someone like a big beefy armored guy like that. That's actually
to put more emphasis on the higher jump, like we could lower that a little bit. Yeah.
I think it's worth doing that. But again, this is like at this point number tweaking and the code part is pretty much done unless we find other edge cases we had not considered. Like right now, it might be possible for the player to be coming down and grab the thing, and then there's an enemy right behind him that he's going to get hit by when time freezes and the enemy is frozen in time below him. So we might have to come up with a little tweak to the code that makes the player completely invulnerable until the animation is done playing or something like that. But we'll see. We'll see if that situation ever occurs. So what was I going to do? I forgot. Oh, tweak the jump height. Let's see.
And one thing to consider when doing this is, I know in different levels we have the ground at like slightly different heights, and I didn't know if the power-ups were at a set Y coordinate or if they were relative to the ground. So
yeah, they're not currently relative to the ground, and inside the cave that wouldn't work. So it's just going to be a matter of necessity, I think, that inside the cave maybe even the normal jump will be high enough to get the power up if there's not enough room in the cave for the power up to be so high that it's out of range for the normal jump. But now I'm trying to remember, where did I set the values for?
And we could always even mix it up, like instead of them just flying by horizontally, like you could even give like the vertical wave up and down for the
make
power
it even
ups,
harder
like
for them to
in like maybe in the later levels, like that's the way it is to but we'll see we can play with that later.
Yeah, but now I'm really confused. Where is I think, and I guess I could be wrong, but usually when I make platformer style games like this, I have variables to adjust the jump height and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not seeing that here, so it makes me feel like maybe it's still just sort of hard-coded into the actual
platformer behavior.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So let me see. Yeah, actually, if I select it this way, maybe I can edit it for all levels at once, and it won't be so bad. Yeah, so maybe it's just this jump strength.
I'm just wondering, is it going to also affect this high jump too? Because
it should not, but see, I really feel like, oh, you know what? That's where the values are. They're in him, in this. So there's the, maybe not. How weird. Behaviors, instance variable. No, it's not. Huh. I can't remember where if I had them, but I feel like I must. Let's see, jump. Strength? No. In here. Jump. Strength. Yeah, no, I'm just using the hard-coded ones. Interesting. So, vector. Yeah, I'm using all hard values. Eventually, I'll probably change that so that when we want to do like really specific tweaking, we can just tweak one global value in the game events, and it'll just be correct everywhere. Like that way, we can really carefully control the super jump and stuff like that. So let's see, jump. Where do we make the character just jump? So simulate pressing jump. And about jump strength. No, nothing. That's weird. Jump.
I think it's just there where it's the y to negative 255. You know.
Yeah. It really looks it. So, yeah. Oh, wait, this is up, down. This is for the super jump, I think? Maybe not, though. Let me see.
So I guess his regular jump is just that it's that original platformer behavior that you were tweaking to begin with, which is that, what was it, the jump? Something.
Jump strength, yeah.
Jump strength. I guess that, but I think the way it's currently set up, that probably would also affect his high jump. So it's probably going to eventually have to be separated, I guess. But
yeah, weird. This is what happens when you spend too long outside of your own code. You forget how you did stuff. Let's see. Well,
guess we'll have to go back and watch our whole
one thing. Yeah, exactly. One thing to do is to change it to something ludicrous to see. Right, so he's going to have a jump strength. Oh no, that's max speed. We don't want to change that. Oh, that doesn't work. I think it was at not 900. That would be very fast. Okay. Jump strength. Okay, so let's make it a jump strength of 8 instead of 180, which I think was originally 200 before I changed it. Let's see if there's super gravity on this planet now. Yep, super gravity. Okay. But the super jump still works fine.
Okay, so that's not unaffected.
So it is hard-coded. Nice. Okay. All right, well, that's not too bad then. Although, like I said, I will eventually change it so it just is easier to tweak the height of the super jump and all that kind of stuff and the gravity. So, jump strength. It was originally 200. We'll try 160.
Mm-hmm. That's not bad.
That feels pretty darned normal, and yeah, now you really feel that big difference between the super jump and the normal jump.
And and he feels like he's got that weight to him, you know.
Yeah, and now I cannot get it without doing the super jump, which I think that will even be the case in the case of the cave. So that's probably perfect. But point is, I will. We'll leave it at that, I think, for this video. The whole point was to just get this effect working in general. There we go.
Nice.
All right, cool. So the next time you see this, everyone, one of us will have updated the graphics for that animation, and I do need eventually to make some sound effects to add in for those types of cases, and maybe we'll consider doing a screen-wide effect, like maybe the whole screen will flash quickly, like we'll brighten that very exact moment. That would be kind of a cool thing to add, like the exact moment the magic kind of glowing balls make contact and give you the, sorry, I just tapped the microphone, give you the gauntlet. At that exact moment we can make the screen brighten. Go ahead.
Yeah, it brought up another thought I had, which is like, you know, once you power up the gauntlet all the way and you get to your final power, maybe it would be worth doing another version of this, which is, you know, could use the same pose and everything, but a better effect. So maybe like that's when the screen flashes, you know, like when he's fully,
that's a great idea.
You know, you've got
we could even reuse the same base animation, but add a cool effect on top of it, like the gauntlet really charging up. Or we could even add a particle effect to it, so that when the gauntlet is more powered up, it's like, in the case of the flame gauntlet, like it's on fire the whole time. Right. Could be pretty cool, and like a different effect per level for the different gauntlets. But yeah, that is a cool idea to have like a fancier, like you've reached the max power, where it would do the pause again, but this time have a cool effect. But I think even for the subtlest version, having the screen just flash really quickly and just have like a cool magical effect, and then like a ching kind of sound, like at that exact moment the gauntlet appears, would be the way to go. Let's see, which layer is that? HUD. Okay, I'm just going to move the debug text back off screen. Save progress. And like I mentioned at the beginning, I'm really busy planning for, there's a trip tomorrow to Paris to renew my passport in anticipation of the trip in August, and there's a lot of just planning and preparation and booking tickets and hotel rooms and coordinating with people and stuff like that. So it's going to be hard for me to keep a regular schedule with the videos until the trip is over, but we'll do our best to keep making content in the meantime, and I'll certainly give an update the day after I get back from the trip. So thanks everyone for watching. Did you have any last minute thoughts, Corey?
No, I think that's all.
All right, thanks everyone, and we'll be back as soon as we can with another video.